Welcome back. We're gonna watch this Improving Your Writing by Benjamin's English. Little Ingvid.
Welcome back
Just
to
finished
Ingvid.
class.
Here we are with a writing lesson. We are looking
Need
at
some
the
ramen?
skill of showing, not telling. And it's going to transform your writing as long as you put it into practice afterwards.
Spill my ramen on top of my friggin' keyboard. Trying to show you guys my ramen. Alright. If you hear blue screws in the back, it's not my fault. Blame the baby.
Show, not tell. What's he talking about?
Show, not tell.
When we're writing, we want to avoid simple statements that don't really add any description or flavour.
Okay.
For example,
more
the man was stressed. Boring. Instead, I want you to paint a picture. I really want you to describe that the man is stressed without telling me that he is. So how can you do that? We're kind of trying to avoid this word and describe it instead. So what's he doing? The man was fidgeting. He's fidgeting. He's so...
I feel like, though, if you're writing, you should just write first, and then if you want to be, like, more descriptive when you're, like, reading a sentence, like, let's say you wrote a short story, right? And then you, like, watch this, and he's like, and you yourself use "the man was stressed," okay? That's fine. It doesn't validate your writing. You can, like, go back to where he says to, where you said that word, and then you can change it up to "the man was fidgeting and biting his nails" in context to why that person was stressed. Maybe when you said he was stressed, you also, on the very next sentence went into why he was stressed. So you could have like a precursor of your explanation that you already did. So instead of like trying to think and write like this in the beginning, you can just write how you normally write and then change it up to be more descriptive or whatever this video is trying to tell us.
He can't sort of stay still and biting his nails. Okay, so pick out a couple of details that show how the person was. Next.
So the man was stressed, right? When it says he was fidgeting and biting. So that becomes a quirk of that character. That character now bites and fidgets every time he gets stressed. So anytime that specific person gets stressed in your story, your book, whatever you're doing, then he has to, you have to incorporate the biting and fidgeting into that story. So if you just write your characters and your story the way you were going to do it in the first place, and then go back and give them specific quirks, then it's easier to insert those, right? So if your person is stressed all the time, then you can put those in the story. But if you're doing it this way and you're initially just giving them the quirks, then you should probably like write, like, I'm not saying this is wrong, you should probably like write that down and keep track of everyone's quirks of what they do and how that person acts, because you have to be consistent in storytelling for that specific character to make them intriguing, believable, and all those other fancy words.
The room was messy. Again, it's a simple sentence.
It's only for a character,
one
though.
Sort of main clause.
For a fucking room, who cares?
Very interesting. Much better
Unless
to
that was a
describe
quirk
the items in the room that make it messy. For example, there was a leftover pizza, dirty clothes were strewn. I'll write that word for you. That means they were covering the floor and there were dirty plates and cups. Okay? These details give us the idea that it is messy. Example 3. The woman was confident. Okay, but it'd be much more effective if you described how she was confident. So how does she move? How do other people react to her? She strode, that means she walked, but with purpose. Okay, so I've picked an interesting verb. She strode in.
This probably like works really well if it's being narrated by like an omniscient person. But if this was being narrated by like one of your characters, then you gotta narrate it like how that character talks and how that character acts. If they're super descriptive, then you should narrate it how descriptive that person is. But if they use words like stressed, messy, and confident, then you should probably like they're not as descriptive. They're just get to the point type characters. Then you don't have to. You'd have to do more inferring, but like that would be just how that person narrates that story.
Into the room, and everyone turned their
Like
heads.
he would say
to
like,
notice
"Oh, that
her.
person's really confident." He's like,
Much
you know, speaks
clearer,
in
more
layman.
vivid
But if it's like an
idea of
omniscient
confidence
person,
than
like,
just saying
you'd
she
be
was
like, yeah,
confident.
she strode into the
Example
room
4.
and everyone was
The boy
fully gazed,
was careful.
fully roused.
Tell us how he was careful. He placed
Roused by her
his
confidence.
favourite magazine in the top drawer of his cabinet. Okay, so we need to say exactly what he is placing, the object.
Wait a second.
There has been missed out. He placed, there's no room for me to write it, you get the idea. He places his favourite book or magazine, and look how specific he is.
I mean, can't you still state that he was careful and then say, this is how he was careful? You know? Like, if you just say, he placed, you know, the breakable object on the centermost, you know, position of his drawer so it doesn't fall, then the reader's like, okay, yeah, the boy is careful. Or they might not even think of that at all, and they're just like, he's putting that shit in the middle. But if you want them to know that he's a careful person, I don't think it should be a problem for you stating that. I mean, I'm sure he's not saying that that's a problem.
Cabinet.
Like, it's just another way to look at it.
Next example, the stadium was full. Again, I'm bored with this simple sentence construction. We need to make it more interesting. The sound from the stadium was deafening, okay, and then give us some main action, perhaps. The sound from the stadium was deafening as the crowd rose up to chant the player's name, okay? Give us the sense that the stadium is full.
What if it was full
from
of
what you
semen?
can see and what you can hear.
Not gonna be that loud.
Okay, a couple of ones to describe weather.
Just full.
It was hot. Okay, well, a very young child could write a sentence like that. So if you're sort of a teenager or an adult, it's time to raise the bar. How can we tell that it is hot? Well, the sun was causing damage to, the sun was melting, the sun was burning, the sun was causing
it's like the hottest thing he knows, the
skin
sun.
to turn red. Okay, pick out details.
What about his
show
mom?
the effect. It was cold. It was cold.
You know
How
what's
do we
hotter
know
than the
it
sun?
was cold?
OP's mom.
How cold did it feel? What can you see? Drain pipes were freezing. Ice was as thick as, I don't know, was 3 inches thick. Whatever. You've got to show details.
That's thick.
Rather than just stating
And long.
things.
You know what I'm saying?
It was windy. The umbrella was totally bent out of shape. The umbrella, you know, for
out.
keeping the rain off
Don't
us.
be so stressed,
was
umbrella.
Totally, that means fully bent. Yeah, bent out of shape, out of its normal position. He found it funny, right? How funny did he find it? Okay, better for us to get the idea to picture what he was doing. He was rolling around the floor
fucking raffle
in
mowing.
hysterics. Okay, when you're so fun, find something so funny, you're like,
This guy looks like Pete Davidson.
okay, he
Looks like a smart Pete Davidson.
can't control his body. He finds it so funny. Hysterics, that
British.
means like totally lost control. Hysteria. Okay, hysterics. In hysterics means finding something really, really funny. The castle was captured, right? I want to get a sense of drama. I want to imagine what's happening there at the castle. Is the king having his head cut off? Are the new army marching in? What's happening? The new flag was hoisted up on high, greeted by a cheer from the crowd.
The fucking British, dude.
Paint pictures, pick out details. Okay, it's good to have a range of adjectives, but how can you show those adjectives? How can you describe them instead? Thank you for watching today's video. Have a go at the quiz after this, and I'll see you very soon. Remember to subscribe. Bye.
That was pretty dope. I'll definitely say if you're like a simple like if you're not as descriptive as this person, you should still like write, and then you can always go back and find these these adjectives that he's talking about and do it the way that he's doing it, and either expand it and be more descriptive. So some people call that filler though. So you can't really like please everyone, Like if you're writing someone, one professor could be like, yeah, he used a lot of filler shit. Another one could be like, yeah, this was too simple. You need to be more descriptive. Like you just have to see who your like target audience is. But always start with how you write and then adapt to what they want. Because you shouldn't guess what they want. You should write how you want to, so you're writing it in the first place, and then correct it later once they give you, their corrections, whatever it is, because it's never usually just one paper, right? It's always like there's the first one, and then okay, these are all the wrong things from the first one. Then you adapt, overcome Bear Grylls style, and you write in the way that they want it written. It's the only way to really excel. I'm gonna finish this ramen now. See you guys later.